Guys, November is one of my favorite months of the year for bass fishing. You catch a lot of fish, and also those fish are starting to get in that transition period. Today, I got Big Sarge. Let's go. I'm glad to have you on.
I'm glad to be on with you.
Big Sarge has his radio show. It's one of the most popular fishing radio shows in the state of Arkansas, Fishing Arkansas. Tell me a little bit about that before we get into these top baits.
Okay, it's on 103.7 The Buzz. If you're from Arkansas, it's an ESPN station.
Yes, sir.
With shows, local shows. So I have the fishing show. It's on at 8:30 to 10 o'clock every Sunday morning. This will be our 9th Christmas.
Nice.
And so thank y'all, listeners or viewers on Facebook. And then going on my 19th year with Channel 4 during the noon news, so about 12:20 or so, I do the fish report there. But I'm looking forward to November because we know they like to eat.
They like to eat, so that's right, guys. I'm glad Big Sarge is part of this today. We're about to share our top 5 baits, or kind of, you'll see in a second, our top baits for the month of November. Start it off. What's your favorite bait?
Okay, so I'm going to save my favorite for last. And so here's the deal. We know that they're chasing baits, so there's a couple spinner baits that I like, and I really like the spinner bait that's got 4 blades. And so you look at that right there. Now, it could be a little closer to some clear water fishing, but that's what I like to do. Remember, you're trying to match the hatch, so whatever the size of bait is, and usually those little old shad are about that size, and it really works. Now, I'm saying that because if you're on the Arkansas River, which a lot of my people are, I will throw one that's got a little red to it, the red blade. I love the red blade, especially in dirty water.
I love the red blade. I was going to say, I've talked about the red blade on videos because of me fishing Millwood.
Yeah.
I learned about that hack. Now, if you guys are a Highland Reservoir, or like we're at Lake Fork today, and that stain water, that red blade comes through too.
That's
awesome.
right. That's right.
Awesome. So that first spinner bait, what brand was that? What brand was that first one?
Well, you know what? It's a new company.
Okay.
And it's really hard to find these, but if you ever heard of BAITS.
Okay, BAITS.
And they're hand tied. I'm not sponsored by them.
Yeah.
Maybe they look at this video and they say it, but they make a really good buzz bait, a really good spinner bait, and it runs true and it does a really good job.
This is some juice you shared, because I know a lot of guys that don't want to talk about the multiple blades, but this time of year he just got into the juice.
Yeah,
I appreciate that. Now, hey, what do you throw the spinner bait on? Like a good general all around rod. What do you like, size?
And here's the deal, folks. And remember, some of your rods will have the name on it: spinner bait, jerk bait, crank bait, worm, whatever. This is actually a 6/8 medium heavy. I want one with a little fast tip, because remember, when she loads up with the spinner bait, you don't want to lose her.
Yeah.
But I still want that backbone to stick it. And so at least a 6/8 for me. Remember, if you're shorter, you may want to go with a 6'4", 6'3".
Yeah.
6/8 medium heavy is good for me.
Awesome. Now, he said he's going to share his favorite here in a minute, because his favorite is also one I'm going to talk about. We're going to do that together. But guys, the next one I'm going to go ahead and share is kind of the opposite of the shallow water. Now, guys, I had videos on my channel last year in November with me catching fish with this, and this is a flutter spoon. Okay, now the flutter spoon, I like to throw the big one. I'm going to try to get these extra hangers off right there. This is a Dixie Jet Talon. You guys know I talk about this one a lot, throw it. But last year when I got on, and it kind of goes to where another bait we're going to talk about in a minute, I caught fish on channel swing rock points with this, okay? Now, with the flutter spoon, one thing it does is it draws fish with forward-facing sonar, which I'm using. I'm throwing it up there where you might throw a jig, and we'll talk about the jig in a minute, where you throw this up on the jig and you bring it up, those fish come out. And so for me, November is one of my times where I'm starting to throw this thing, and I throw it almost year-round, but for sure November, because they want that small bait or big, and that's kind of what we do, small or big. I'm throwing on a 710, medium, heavy, moderate, fast, level NGX. I've thrown on the 7.8 heavy, and so guys, that's mine. Now, hey, let's go ahead and talk about.
Are you sure?
Let's talk about it now. We're gonna talk about it now. Talk about the favorite bait now.
All right.
Because we're both about to talk about this one.
So here's the deal. Whether you believe this or not, Denny Breyer will back me up 100%. The jig is the best go-to. I know you need some confidence with every lure. The best go-to bait that I have. Now, here's the deal. This is what I have right here. Now, I have a friend, California Reservoir Lures. He's from California. He hand ties my own jigs for me. And if you notice, if you come to my rod box, you will always find a football head on. And you can notice how it looks just like a football. The reason being, real quick, is whether I'm in 4 foot of grass or 20 foot of grass, I love when I could yank that and get it hung up a little bit, shake it loose, instinct they'll just come after it. Also, I'm a huge drag. I love to drag the points, love to drag shell beds, whatever it is, it's going to work. But it ain't going to work unless you got a good trailer. Now, he asked me, he said, what kind of trailers you got? Well, look at here.
I'm going to let him talk about the trailers in a minute.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
You don't let him talk about, no,
okay.
No, I'm going to let him talk about it for him. I'm just listening. I'm learning right here. So here we go.
So, hundreds of trailers. Just pick one.
There's 1,000 in there.
And I will tell you right now that my money goes with the Rage Crawl. It's just, it looks really, really good. I mean, look at that. They stay separated really nice. You can chartreuse the tips if you want to, put a little red dye. Now, what you got to remember is sometimes they don't want to eat that big one, and you got to downsize with your trailer. Even if you throw a half ounce jig, it doesn't matter. Sometimes you got to downsize. So I'll downsize with just a little one, just like that right there.
That's really one of the best all-around trailers. And Texas Rick Baits, this right here, and I know you got a bunch in there. You're about to talk about the old Crush City.
Can I do that?
Yeah, go ahead. I'm about to say this is.
I know our friend, your friend, Dustin Connell and Wheeler, I'm not sponsored by
He's not, guys. Like I said, we're
but I want to tell you, I started using, you could just flip this, but if you need a little small compact with your jig, this is it right here. If you don't want the big flare and you just want a little compact, that is a great.
That's called the Bronco Bug, right?
It is.
The Bronco Bug, yeah. I've actually heard a lot of good feedback with the Bronco Bug, and that's when I saw you pull that out. I was like, interesting. He's already on the Bronco Bug game.
That's all I got for you.
Yeah, that's it. So hey, now I'm going to talk about the jig because it's football season, guys, and it is still football jig time, okay? My man talked about the football jig ripping it in the grass, and guys, you've heard us talk about how we got on that Ouachita grass swim jig bite with the football jig, but guys, I love the football jig in the month of November. If you go back on my history of fishing, pre-live scope, take it away. The jig came out during this month. October, it was still there, but this is the month it happens. But like I talked about, guys, while I was throwing that flutter spoon, I love it on channel swing points with rock, okay? And for my Ouachita guys, the gray, Highland Reservoir, Table Rock, I love fishing it on those type of places. Now, on the lowland reservoir, like we're at Lake Fork today, okay, you're still main lake points, your flat points around shell bed, around rock. My man here is flipping it up against timber. You're fishing his wood. Still those areas there. Now, guys, you know, this is the Fish of the Moment off Your Jig by Joel Baits. It has the wire weed guard. It's hand tied. You know, it has the old school rubber. This one here is pretty old. I only have a couple of these left, and Johnny, he'll typically send me some. The trailers, I throw a variety. I love the Rage Crawl.
Yeah.
I've been testing other ones out, guys. You know, this one still has the old toe thumper crawl gill on it right there. But I love the football jig this time of year. Like I said, football season is football jig. What are you throwing your jig on, rod-wise?
So, folks, again, depending on your height, I think.
Yeah, okay, that's fair.
Mine's a 7.5, 7.7, even a 7.8, and I want heavy.
Yeah.
I want the heaviest the better. And I want, G Loomis makes a great one, Phoenix makes a great one, Virtus Rods makes a great one. I know you got your own choice.
Yeah.
I also want a really fast 9 to 5 gear ratio, so when I flip it out there, nothing's on it, I can get it back real quick.
Yeah.
And so I power that with my, fluorocarbon line. We're on forks, so 20, 25 pound, and that's my setup.
Nice. I throw it, guys, anywhere from a 7.2 to 7.6, medium heavy or heavy. I have a 7.3 heavy I'm throwing it on as well. But he talked about that fast gear ratio when I was talking about with Lake Ouachita and those deeper rock points and those channel bend points. When you throw it out there and it's on the fall, there's sometimes them fish eat it on the fall. Yeah. So reeling up, having a fast reel to catch up to it is a very key with the jig.
It is.
With the jig. So guys, right there's our baits. There's kind of like 4 in between us. We share 2. Now the last one, and my man here is about to go throw it tomorrow. He's about to throw it. But my last one for this month is a glide bait. This right here is the Little Benders glide bait. I'm going to put more information that you can only get this at a couple retailers right now. I'm going to put those down in the description before. I'm going to put all of our information down there in the description. And so guys, this right here is a smaller glide bait. But one thing I like about it is you don't have to be a experienced glide bait fisherman to throw this. You can throw it out there, and when you reel it, it works. And I still like to twitch it if you watched on my videos with this one. But like other glide baits, like it's on my rod over there, like that KGB, you got to work your rod. You got to do so much right, and you got to be really good and put a lot of time in. This one, you just throw and reel it. Now, this one's made for shallower fishing. So in the month of November, weather's still, I mean, it's hot right now.
Yeah.
Back of creeks around docks, laydowns, stumps. I'm throwing this thing looking for a fish that wants one big meal. Now, guys, I'm throwing this on a 7.3 medium. It's moderate, like a square bill rod, a crankbait rod, okay? Now, those bigger glide baits, you want to kind of start getting more heavier here, but I want something like that spinner bait, a good tip. I want them to eat it, and when they start throwing it, I don't want them to throw this thing around, okay? But I appreciate you being on today.
I got an alibi real quick.
Yeah.
Just in case if you didn't know it, I've got 6 professional guys that call the show.
Uh-huh.
You're looking at them. Fishing coach is one of them. You can guarantee he's going to be on time at 8:45. Lake McGray, Lake Washita,
Yes,
Hamilton. Maybe throw a little Millwood in there.
Yeah, we're talking about Millwood.
Yeah, so listen to my show on Sunday morning if you want that great fishing report.
Appreciate you, man. Thank you very much. And guys, now we're going to go into the Faith Juice segment. Okay, guys, welcome to the Faith Juice segment. We have had a lot of rain. Finally, we've had some rain. Very thankful for it. Curious what's going to do to the fishing. I'm going to be on the water tomorrow on a on-the-water lesson with helping find productive areas and do some forward-facing as well, guys. Welcome to the Faith Juice segment already. Now, we're going to talk about accountability and how you're accountable, I'm accountable, how we can be accountable to each other. There are times in life you might blame others or say this or that and not take responsibility of your actions, and when it comes down to you. And even I get myself caught up in this at times, okay? Lately there's been some things I've been caught up with, and then I always gotta go back and look, like say it's on me. And I know, guys, when we're on the water, you always think about it too, like when we're on the water fishing and they're not biting, or if and there's days that I know they don't bite, but my mind is always like, hey, they're eating somewhere, what am I going to do and change? So are you making that change, and are you looking at you, or are you just making the excuses? So let's not be excuse makers. Let's go be productive. A couple scriptures going to share I have here is a young man is known by his actions, whether his behavior is pure and upright. That's Proverbs 20:11. Proverbs 2:20 says, follow the way of good people and keep the paths of righteousness. And then Jeremiah 17:10, I, the Lord, examine the mind. I test the heart to give each to according his way, according to what his actions deserve. So right there, getting your heart tested. So no matter where we're at right now, what you got coming up, take responsibility of your actions. And if it's at work, at the house, or on the water, okay, take responsibility. Appreciate you. Let me know what you think about the video. And guys, we'll see you on the next one.